One of the biggest days in DeWindy City history. That's right, Dan Levy. Fired up. You are our official, your first ever live performance on here, buddy. We've got the lovely Courtney at Courtney883, as you can see, and the amazing man in the mix every day with your Chicago Bears from WSCR at Mark Brody Sports is here with you. Gentlemen, I got Marco, you ready? I got a hot take for you to start here. You ready for a hot take?
Yeah.
Khalil Mack. And is somebody eating? Is somebody having breakfast over there? I'm hearing some crumpling.
I'm hearing that too, by the way.
I am as well.
We have a little crumple. Actually, I think we're good. All right. Or maybe not. I don't know. There's
someone's got some feedback, but we're good. Let's rock and roll, baby.
Here it comes. Here's my hot take for you. Khalil Mack was like he was the timeshare that looked amazing, that you really wanted, and the moment you wanted the sweet Cancun, somewhere, anywhere in the world, beachfront property. And then you had to do everything you possibly could do to get out of it because it was a diminishing asset that literally after one amazing game with Green Bay, after that, somehow he just got hurt. The shoulder wasn't right. Nothing was right. He played 7 games last year. Yeah, he was out. You're on the hook for zillions of dollars. And Ryan Poles, God bless him, read the room correctly and said, we're playing for the future. We need money. We need opportunity. We're saying goodbye to Khalil Mack. I give him an A+ on his first move here. Marco, are you feeling me? He was a timeshare. You had to get out of it. Like every commercial you hear, it's like timeshare, get out of your timeshare.com. That's in essence what the Bears did with Khalil Mack. And I know that Khalil Mack's a nice player and he's cute and adorable and he can still play and maybe he'll help the Chargers. But I think you had to get out of it. Can't hear Marco.
Mark, okay, now we got to walk you through how to unmute your computer.
Brody has muted the computer. Rough start for DeWindy. Courtney,
I think what Brody was going to say is that it looked very good in the beginning. We were so pumped for Khalil Mack in the beginning. When he came out, I still remember where I was September 18th when they announced that he was going to be a Chicago Bear. I was excited, and then he completely took apart the Packers, and we never saw him again. And when I knew that he was probably not going to be a good fit for the Bears is that when I used to work at a radio station in Chicago, they gave us a tour of Hallis Hall, and I saw Khalil Mack's locker, and I went, that guy and I use the same deodorant. There's no way that guy's going to be good here because I shouldn't be a football player. There's no way he should have the same one as me. So right then and there, I knew it was downhill.
Wait a second. Burying the leader, you and Khalil Mack have the same deodorant?
Dove for men. We had the exact same one. I looked at his locker and I went, this guy's going to be hurt because if I had to play football, there's no way I'd make it out of a locker room like that. So that is a bad sign for the Bears that we have the exact same hygiene, if you will.
It's actually the greatest upgrade in your life that you and Mac went Dove whatever deodorant. I didn't even
there was a moment of, hey, I wear the same deodorant. And then there was another moment of going, we wear the same deodorant.
Right. No, he should have at least been going Old Spice, maybe a right guard. Courtney,
that big doesn't need deodorant. You can stick it off. No need to deodorize.
Yeah, no. Well, that's true too. I'm sure he just smells beautifully. Hey, Finicum, what was your reaction? Marco's back. Marco, can you hear us?
Can you guys hear me?
We got you.
There you are.
There you go, buddy.
I am so sorry. I don't know if that was something on my end, but I am here and I am ready to rock.
Well,
welcome back.
Hey, technical difficulties happen at the start of the show. It's all right. Marco, what's your reaction? Mack to the Chargers. Brian Poles, why not come out and just make a big statement early on? That's what he did.
Yeah, he did, and I think it actually confirms the end of an era. I mean, I think it's like that one word that I would use to describe it, gang, is sad. It's sad because of how gargantuan of a deal it was in 2018. And Carmo, you mentioned the Green Bay Packers game, and that whole year was a great year for him. I mean, he had 12.5 sacks in, 14 games that year, so it wasn't just the Green Bay game. He had a terrific season that year, and he was symbolic of that whole year because the Bears won with defense. And then he started to go down that was also symbolic of the rest of the Bears. Like his production tailed off. I mean, you mentioned it. 2020 he had 9 sacks. In 2019 half sacks. It just last year he had 7 games and 6 sacks, and they finally shelved him with the injury. So yeah, I mean it's kind of sad, but it was the right move, and he has value. I mean, he may have decreased in his production, but the guy has value, and that's why Ryan Poles used him to at least get a couple of draft picks, one of which will be this year.
Courtney, when you think of Khalil Mack in a Bears uniform, what will you remember or not remember?
Well, the only thing I will say about the Khalil Mack Bears situation, did Ryan Poles really have to put him back in the AFC West? Did he really have to do that? I mean, that was a little underappreciated on my end, but that's a different story. I agree with Mark. I think that, injuries definitely caught up to him. Obviously, I think he is still a valuable player, especially with a Joey Bosa in LA now. Obviously, that's going to be a pretty solid tandem. But I compare him to like a Von Miller, and Von Miller is just built a little bit differently than Khalil Mack. So I'm not super concerned about him with the Chargers, but it was definitely the right move for the Bears to move on and get rid of that and hopefully go young at that position.
Did anybody? So Marco, I almost hear like you got sad yesterday. There was a moment of a tear in the eye with Mac walking out the door. Like
what?
Things
well,
that
kind
of.
I mean, that move to get Khalil Mack was just it was massive, and Ryan Pace that year was the executive of the year, and in large part it was because of that maneuver to get Khalil Mack, and then obviously they had 12 wins, and it was such a fun year. I mean, the 2018 is now like close the book. It's officially over. There is no attachment to it anymore. I mean, there are players that were there, but that was supposed to be the start of something great. And as it turned out, I hate to say it, the whole thing was a fluke. Now, when you look back and you see that it was
We just lost Marco. Go ahead.
We lost you again, Marky. But I will pick it up on that part, and I will say I actually am happy for the poor guy. Khalil Mack came here. We were hoping he would actually be the shot in the arm, and he was for that first couple of months for the Bears. He was that shot in the arm. But knowing that we're rebuilding, knowing that this poor guy had to sit through this rebuild and watch this team become the laughing stock of the NFL, and that guy's got real value, and standing next to Joey Bosa, this league is not going to know what to do with those two guys. When he was at the Bears, he was the only focus. We'll just make sure that guy is blocked and we can deal with the rest of the defense on our own. Now, when there's 2 guys on that team, they're going to be very dangerous. And I'm sorry about your Denver Broncos. They're going to be peeing in their pants when they see Russell Wilson, and he looks up and he sees those 2 guys staring at him at both sides of his eyes. So I feel good for the guy. I hope he goes and he wins the Super Bowl like the Lions fans hopefully did with Stafford, because I think, to be honest, that guy, what he has done for the league and how good he is, it'll be nice to see that guy's career get remembered for hopefully winning it. Not he would have been good, but then he went to the Bears.
Robbie with a great comment. Are Chargers picking up the tab and giving the Bears a second rounder? Like, I mean, people were like, why didn't you get more from him? Why didn't you get more from him? You just ate. The Bears have 28 million, Marco, more on the cap next year. It's 6 million more this year. I don't want to get deep down a dead cap conversation that's going to put Levy to sleep here. But the bottom line is that the Chargers are overpaying for an aging asset, taking a flyer that he's going to be great, and the Bears get a ton of flexibility. Plus, they get a second-round pick, which I'm assuming they're going to use to try and help Justin Fields. Correct? Like that's what you have to figure out right now.
Yeah, I would expect so. I mean, now with 2 second-round picks, you need. I mean, it seems pretty obvious to me where you can go. You can get the best offensive lineman in the second round at that point, and you can get the best wide receiver at that point to build around him. And yeah, just to be exact, I mean, it is pretty handy that all of the contract is being picked up by the Chargers. He is owed $17.75 million in 2022. Levy mentioned this earlier. Also, $22.9 million in 2023, and then
Levy reference.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Lev, and then you had mentioned this, the $23.25 million in 2024. And if there's one thing that you're always saying, it's like you got to look for those late years on a football contract.
And I will say this, the Bears are the last ones to put their eyes on him. Maybe they're going, man, this guy's pretty banged up. Whatever we can get out of this guy. Hopefully the Chargers don't know exactly how injured he is. Here you go. Have fun.
If the Bears don't spend every single pick on the offensive line, they're officially dumbasses. They need every single thing they can protect Justin Fields with. Their line was atrocious last year. So that needs to be focus number one. You're only as good as your line, and that's the truth.
Love Courtney.
And Courtney,
great call.
What you've always maintained is that you're not exactly sure who's had a worse career in Chicago, Khalil Mack or Jay Cutler. Which one? Because they were both. I'm drawing the two together because when Cutler came here, it was like, oh my God, finally we've got something, and it was the same reaction with Mack. Like those are the two biggest moves that the Bears have made in the last decade that excited the city, and of course, Cutler was a complete and utter disaster. I think I'm dealing with.
Oh no! I mean, he busted a lot of Bears records there. I mean, the guy did good. It's just he unfortunately had nobody really to throw it to. He had a horrible attitude. Nobody really took him as a leader. But in terms of production, I mean, because he was injured a lot, there's not much you can say. But Khalil Mack, we got nothing. There is nothing we could say that Khalil Mack did for the Bears. What did Khalil Mack do for the Bears that's going to make you go, man, we're going to miss that injury list?
Marco,
it was great seeing him on the
first of all, Jay Cutler did have Brandon Marshall. He did have Alshon Jeffrey, and he did not live up to expectations. That's the way I would look at Jay Cutler.
He lived up to better than any quarterback's expectations that has ever put on a Bears uniform since
the haul that they gave up to get Dan, settle down. Dan, I'm not going to hear it from you. Mute his mic instantly.
I can do that.
Jay Cutler never lived up to what he was supposed to be with the Chicago Bears. Was he good? Yeah, I would put him down as good. He was like on that the little VU meter would like be good, but then it would bounce below good and then be back to good, but it never went above good. And he was supposed to be above good. Now, what was the thing you said about Khalil Mack?
I drew it. Levy, the greatest moment in Bears history in I don't know, since the loss to the Packers was actually going to the playoffs and getting a double doink away from advancing, which
that's a game that Bears fans quickly have put it in the litter box and shoved litter on top of that game. Nobody wants to talk about double doink again.
Yeah, hey, I agree with that.
Double doink is the shining moment of Khalil Mack's career at the Bears.
They went to the playoffs. They won 12-4. The team, people thought that they were. Matt Nagy stood out there and looked completely dumbfounded at what had happened. We all thought that he was like a legitimate coach at that point.
Had that game not occurred, Nagy would have been out of this town a year ago. So I there's nothing about that game that I enjoy.
Jimmy John's is at the door here. You guys, did anybody order Jimmy John's to Fansided?
Hey, you should have seen Grody on the sidelines for that double doink, because Grody is getting direction on, we got to get Cody Parkey after he makes this, and we're going to do all this, and we're going to do all that, and then the double doink happens, and we all just stare. And we're all just like, well, take your time. And then I went into the locker room, and Cody Parkey did the big, gang of reporters, like everybody wants to talk to him. Then I went up to him with the mic to Bears Radio Network thing, and I go, can I get a couple minutes with you, Cody? And he looks at me and he goes, do I have to? I was like, I don't know. I didn't know what to say. I was like, it's my first year doing it. I'm like, God, I guess not. And he's like, okay, thanks, man. And then the rest is really, he walked out of the locker room that day, and we never heard from Cody Parkey again.
First of all, at that point in time, for the record, I thought that Mark Grody was the good luck charm of the earth. You went to the Cubs, the historical losingest franchise of all time, and you won the World Series being in the booth. And then you go to the Bears, and they're in the playoffs, and like borderline people are talking Super Bowl, and then we found out that you weren't the good luck charm of life.
You got double
Dude, I love that. I love that identity, and everybody was putting it on me. And like people were saying, "What if Grody gets a World Series ring and a Super Bowl ring?" And I'm buying into all this stuff. I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm the guy. I'm the guy that's going to be associated with good luck." And then with one fell swoop of a double doink, that narrative came to an end, and now here I am.
Well, we're moving.
I was
forward.
helping you dust off the mantle, Marky. I was waiting for it. Another ring on the mantle. I was waiting for you, buddy. That was a rough one.
Levy props. Our guy Rob Schwartz with the Cutler at 8 years. That alone puts him over Mack. Rob, I'm with you, buddy. In Bears history, Cutler, I guess, had a greater career than Khalil Mack. But I do think that they are kind of side by side on some level in disappointment. Like, you were expecting Cutler to win a Super Bowl. Same thing with Khalil Mack. I think it's Cutler, obviously, in his position as the quarterback, had a greater impact, I'm stating the obvious here, than what Mack's having, rushing the quarterback. But am I pushing the limit or too much tying those two together? Am I making any sense?
I think Khalil Mack was, like you were saying, it was just unfair. It was unfair that he was playing with an offense that there wasn't much after that first season, and the defense was playing almost 90% of the time, and the offense didn't set them up at all. So when I look back on what Khalil Mack got to do with Chicago, I think we all owe him an apology and hope that he goes and gets himself a Super Bowl ring, because he was wasted out here. Wasted. He's ready to go to a team that wins, and it was in Chicago. Sorry.
I mean, Courtney, you're the sentimental type. Do we owe the guy an apology? I don't know if we have to say I'm sorry for anything.
You never have to say you're sorry for this, obviously. But I do want to hit on the
That's coming from a married man right here, by the way. I know apologies pretty well. I apologize.
Oh, that's true. Especially talking to a woman here. That's
I don't even say good morning anymore. I just say I'm sorry. What do you want for breakfast?
Dan, I knew I liked you as soon as I met you. I knew that.
I know the deal. I know the score.
You do. You do.
Good morning.
But I do want to hit on the. That's all we need. That's all we need.
Here's the coffee. Here's the eggs. Let me finish running to Mac. Sorry too. Let's go.
Yeah. Whatever happened, I'm sorry. It was on me. My fault.
New day.
That's
new
right.
day.
That's
new
right.
day.
But I do want to hit on the Jay Cutler thing, because as a diehard Denver Bronco fan that I've been my whole life, when we made that trade with the Bears, people were, blowing me up. Oh, Courtney, we're gonna go to the Super Bowl with Jay Cutler. And I said, you guys have absolutely no idea what you're getting, because it was known in Denver he had a, pissy attitude. He couldn't really get over the hump. He made a lot of, I used to laugh when I watched him with the Bears throw off his back foot off all the time, because I'm like, that's an interception. And sure enough, interception. I saw his flaws way before any of the Bear fans did. And I'm like, I will take my chances with Kyle Orton, who I always considered very, very underutilized and underappreciated. And I'm like, you guys, I love Mark. I will die on this hill. You don't want to fight me on Kyle Orton.
No, listen, I'm laughing. I'm laughing, Courtney, because I thought I was the only Kyle Orton fan out there. I liked Kyle Orton.
About this.
the day of the trade, I'm like, why does everybody hate on Kyle Orton? The Bears are winning games.
Agreed.
But,
and same with what I think, Dan, I think you said it. Cutler had nobody to really throw to here except like Brandon Marshall. Orton had that same problem here. And, he went to Denver and Buffalo and had some very good success. So I think it's pretty.
Well, I'm sorry to spoil the little Kyle Ortman appreciation party, Armo and Courtney here right now. The guy was below average for his career. What's the big memory of Kyle Orton? I'm not sure I can get it. I mean, I understand.
Kyle Orton was always the Rex Grossman is hurt. Let's put Kyle Orton in. Oh, he actually won a few games. He won a few games.
Yeah, he was the proverbial backup quarterback. Everybody loves the backup, Levy, right?
Yes, you're right. Just like I think Carmen has been singing Cade McNown's praises.
Oh my God!
At least 15 years.
Josh McCown, not Cade McNown. McCown.
I'm sorry, Josh. That's how much I could care less about the backup quarterback.
He wasn't.
Carm loved him.
20 touchdowns and 1 pick. By the way, one more comment from Rob. You're the man, Rob. Khalil Mack's career was wasted here in Chicago, and it's similar to Aaron Rodgers being wasted in Green Bay. That's a bridge too far there, Robbo. Aaron's had a lot more control up there, at least in my mind.
And
Khalil did
guys, Khalil Mack had 1 year out of the 4 with the Bears that he had double-digit sacks. He had the 1 year. So, and I get it that there was injury reason, triple teamed, all that kind of stuff. But, on the overall, Khalil Mack did not live up to what he was supposed to do. So, in terms of like owing him an apology and making excuses for Khalil Mack, he did not, except for 1 year, he did not make the impact that he was supposed to make with the Bears.
I'm sorry. So sorry. You had to stick around this team, and what was the biggest drama in the NFL for a long time was everybody said a lot of things of where Aaron Rodgers should do, what's going on with Tom Brady, and then the poor Bears. The poor Bears, and everything that's come out about the Bears since Nagy has gotten worse and worse and worse. Congratulations, Khalil Mack. Enjoy San Diego. Tell Brett Boone I love him. Goodbye.
Los Angeles, Dan. Come on.
Get your Chargers
Go
right.
back to LA and tell LeBron I love him too.
We all make that mistake.
Hey, Levy.
Kane McNown, San Diego. It's all the same. It's California.
Levy, stick to the salary cap, Levy.
Yeah, dead cap, Levy. Coming back to you in a minute. Hey, Ravi, but I think you might relate it to my guy Ed O'Bradovich with the dink dunk handoff guy with Orton. That's exactly what it was. Dink and dunk. Dink and dunk.
By the way, I watched Kyle Orton in Buffalo go 87 yards against the Vikings and win that game, just for the record. So
okay.
You're really dying
that's all I'm going to say.
Oh, wait.
You're dying on that hill. I like it. I like it.
Dan, I'll die on that hill all day long.
Flag is planted.
Oh yeah, that's my guy.
You've always got Courtney's always got the 87-yard drive in her pocket, ready to go.
I do.
I'll tell you what about Kyle Orton. He had an 87-yard drive in a regular season game.
I have literally had fights with Bear fans in bars over Kyle Orton.
Wow.
My claims.
I like her already.
You got to like Courtney. We're going to get to Courtney's White Sox in a second here, but I want to do Tarik Cohen memories. Let's get emotional. Tarik Cohen was one of the coolest dudes ever on the Bears. I would put him like top 20. That's too high. I'm overstating it. But the dude caught 2 footballs doing the reverse flip thing that he was 5'7". He was fun as hell, and he got hurt, and that sucked, and now he's gone. He was a star that shined really bright for I don't know, 1 season, and now Tarik will have to see if he can resurrect a football career, which is not going to be easy for him to do. Any Marco, you look like you're in Tarik pain.
Yeah, again, it's the same thing with Khalil Mack. He shined. The 1 year that he shined was in 2018. There it is. Matt Nagy did a good job that year of getting him open and utilizing him as a running back, as a receiver, as a special teamer. And 19 defenses started to game plan for him to take him out. And Matt Nagy never. They still liked him. They give him the 3-year deal worth $12 million, though, in 2020. A few games later, tore ACL. And here we are, a guy who, honestly, I worry about him for his career. I mean, he should have been back, I mean, as far as timetables are concerned, with a torn ACL. And now I just wonder if the guy's ever going to play again.
Energy, personality. That's what he had that was actually better than Khalil Mack. We love seeing Tarik Cohen. The guy was like 5'1" and was going crazy out there, doing crazy spin moves, looking like Sonic the Hedgehog going through defensive lines. He was so good, the Jewish community thought he was one of us. It was fantastic. You were ready to
yeah, that's right.
Guy. He had personality. He was doing YouTube videos. He was one of the first person I think that I ever saw go Instagram live. Tarik Cohen was fantastic, and from a fantasy football owner's standpoint, he was fantastic. He won a couple games for me on my own, so I am more sad to see Tarik Cohen go, and I am au revoir, Khalil Mack. No personality. Give me the personality every day.
I wasn't trying to draw a Mack versus Cohen comparison. I love that you just went there, Dan, because that's vintage you.
Good Shabbos. Good Shabbos.
And it's true. Tarik was an underrated Jewish guy, and for the two Jews who are on here on Friday, Shabbat Shalom. Yeah, we love you, buddy.
Is today a holiday? Is today a Jewish holiday?
I would no. It's just you know
holiday.
Friday night Shabbat, Marco. Like me and Lev are gonna
Shabbat.
Yeah. Beret Prihag off, and we'll have a little. It's a thing. Levy loves an unleavened bread. Come Passover season
every day. A little smear on top of it.
What are the crackers called? That's this unsalted crackers.
The fact that we've gone from Tarik Cohen to unleavened bread just speaks volumes. How much I'm gonna miss Tarik Cohen.
You did it. You started, and you brought up this Jewishness, which I was not thinking of. But I will. What I do think of with Tarik, he was like Club Dub leader.
Yeah.
Right.
Agreed.
And Club Dub for at least 5 seconds was cool, and then it got
was
really
awesome.
old.
That first year, it was awesome.
It was pretty rough when they're losing. You know what I mean? Like every year was a grind, and it was like, they lost 5 in a row, and then they win. You guys gonna do Club Dub?
And then when they did it, it was really uncomfortable. Really uncomfortable.
Yeah, it was like a cold matzo ball soup. Yeah.
Club Dub was used matzo ball.
Matzo ball soup. That's great. Not too shabby.
Hey, I know we're Grody's got obligations. You probably do too. So I just want to celebrate something on the back end here because everybody here loves baseball with the exception of Levy, who can't stand it. But even though he does the Brett Boone podcast,
I'm involved in it though.
Finicum, your baseball is back. Your White Sox are back. Are you just smiling ear to ear over there? Are you just life is good again?
Life is good again. Now I'm just waiting for them to get me a second baseman and a right fielder and maybe another starting pitcher, and we're good to go. But I'm very excited it's back. I'm glad they're doing a full 162 game season, obviously, because since COVID and everything else that's gone on, the sport can't afford to, continue to lose games and all that. So thrilled, happy, excited. Here we go. We're off and running, but now let's get some free agency going.
Yeah. And,
Amen.
Speaking to Ravi's point here, Cubbies, cause Courtney's such a huge White Sox fan. There's these couple Cubs out there and Kyle Schwarber and Chris Bryant. Anybody want either of those on the South side? Is that even Marco, Dano, Courtney?
Yes. I'll take Bryant. Yes.
I would take Bryant. I would consider Bryant.
I'm not going to take a former league MVP. We'll take him.
We've talked about this, Carm. I'm very lukewarm on him. I kind of am. I don't know. I mean, if it happened, I think it'd be great. It'd be exciting, but I don't know. He would not be my first choice.
Courtney, are you lukewarm on that because of his Cubs stink? Is that what it is?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, yes. I mean, obviously that doesn't help, but if we're thinking about like a right fielder, I would take a Conforto. Take a look at him, obviously, or even he's not great defensively, but man, he can rake at guaranteed rate as Nick Castellanos, of course.
Amen.
That to me is 1 and 2. That to me is 1 and 2.
And the NBA fan of me will take anybody with the name K. Bryant and suit it up for me. I'll take him. Former league MVP, we'll take him.
I appreciate that, Dan. That's nice.
Kobe, what's going on?
Hey, Joe Grande?
Courtney, Dan in NBA locker rooms, there is no greater entertainment because guys, a guy like Kobe would walk into the Lakers locker room and everybody would be like, "Oh my God, that's Kobe Bryant," and everyone would be dead silent. And then this guy would just be like, "What's up, Kobe?"
yeah.
Because everybody else had a serious, real question. And like I said before, I am a puppy in a room full of adults with treats in their hands. And they could smell it right on me, and they knew right away. The only serious question I had for them is, where are we eating dinner tonight? That's it. That's the presser.
What did Shaq call you?
Mr. Deep Voice Guy. He would sing to me, Mr. Deep Voice Guy.
And he has a deep voice, so what does that tell you?
I shocked him.
Yeah, you did.
And Dwight Howard calls you what? Bam Bam?
Bam Bam Bigelow, the old wrestler.
Oh, now that's funny.
That was pretty good. That was
funny.
one of those I couldn't argue. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
That's very good.
My favorite was when who was the guy with the Lakers? He was like a fifth a bench guy at the time. He was a Kardashian lover.
Lamar Odom.
Odom.
Yeah. So Lamar,
Kardashian lover.
Yeah, he was a Kardashian lover. The Lakers are running out onto the court like before the game, pregame, and Levy and I are in the tunnel just watching the Lakers walk in, and Levy sees Odom and he goes, "Lamar, what's going on, man?" And Odom looks back, giant smile on his face, looks at me, and just kind of throws his arms up like, "What's up with this guy?"
But he knew I was harmless, and that's all I was going for.
Right. No, he
thought
right. He saw me laughing, so he looked at me like he knew that we were fast friends, but he kind of looked at me like,
it was good.
What's this guy yelling at me for? Hey, Lamar, what's going on? How's Kim?
How's Kim?
Everyone,
my regards.
Everybody's friend, Big Bad Dan.
Yeah.
All right, last one here. Poll around the room. Level of anger towards baseball. 1 is not angry at all. 10, I'll forever be pissed. Courtney, starting with you, where are you at after that? Now that it's over.
It's again kind of like a disappointing date. I'm over it. I'm good. I'm all right. I've moved on. I'm ready to go. It's back. I recover quickly, Carm. You know that. I recover quickly. Probably earlier this week, I was probably at like a 6 or a 7, but now I'm good. We got opening day coming up. Let's focus on that. We're good.
So a 2?
Probably about a 2.
About a 2.
Yeah.
About a 2. Dan, do you care at all?
I'm a 0. We all got to suffer through 162 games now. Thanks a lot, guys. Could have made it 120. That would have made me happy. Just to have that talk would have been good.
I'm with Levy on this one. I am 0 anger because they're not a single game. I'm actually kind of angry that there was all this anger and that I was told games were going to be missed. And that 2 weeks of the season, and then all of a sudden they're like, nope, 162 games, right? Everything's fine. So why did we spend the last 2 months being right? We spent the last 2 months having to come up with hot takes about being pissed off that we weren't going to have April baseball. So I'm pissed about all the havings to be pissed off.
My dad took me to baseball games, and we used to go on April the 3rd, and now this year I'm not going to be able to go on April the 3rd.
Okay. That is spot on, Carmo. Spot on.
Yeah, they don't care about me. Correct. They don't. They never have. They never will.
Nope.
Too rich. Too rich. Too much money to care.
They care about you as much as you care about whoever gave you your Starbucks this morning. You care about that person. You want to be a nice person to that person.
Yeah.
But after you walk out of that Starbucks, they're never going to think you don't ever think about that person ever again.
They care about you as much as rotten gefilte fish. That's about how much they care about you.
Boy,
did I get it right?
Doesn't that hit home for you?
You know I'm a Dunkin' Donuts girl too, by the way, and they do care about me at Dunkin'. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's what you run on. That's what you run on.
Right. I'm sure they do, Courtney. They share exactly the same amount that, I'm sure that give me your most fan-friendly White Sox player of all time. Who would we go with? Let's say Ozzy. Ozzy was very adorable and cared, and then he's on to the next thing. Come on.
Who isn't like that though? Who isn't like that, right? I mean, like I said, I get over things and we move on.
Professional athletes. I mean, they're all making millions and millions and millions of dollars, and they want to get $1 million more. You think they care that I'm sitting in the 4th inning going, who needs to go to the bathroom? Let's speed this one up. They don't care about me.
Alexei Ramirez really cared. Nick Madrigal really cared. Now he's going to care on the north side.
Don't say that name, Carm, unless you want to open up a whole can of worms. You know that.
I know. Courtney's number one thing in life is for the White Sox to trade Craig Kimbrell and make it stop, which I think they will. Hey,
I agree.
All right. So we'll wrap on this. Marco, grade for Ryan Poles so far. Oh, now we got a frozen Grody. I think he's coming back.
He's working.
Mark, we can't hear you again.
No, he's good. I don't mess with it. Maybe mess with it. I'm just I'll answer my own question. Ryan Poles, you get an A, dude. From all of us at the Windy, you're off to a great start. You're taking swings. You're moving it along. You're not afraid to trade a big name. Hey, this is the easy part, tearing it down. It's a lot easier to tear it down than to build it back up, but at least you're not trying to hold on to something like many of us do in life. Poles is moving forward courageously, stamping the team. I like it. Yes, Dan?
So far logical. We'll really get the grades out come draft time. That's all.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Finicum, great job.
Good to see you guys as always. Thank you. It was fun.
Marco, way to lead us to victory. Can we hear you? We can. I think that was a thing.
That's a wave.
Yeah, that was definitely a wave. Goodbye.
And goodbye.
And goodbye.
Gone.
Hey, everybody in the chat, Robbie especially, and Rob, appreciate you guys. Thanks for weighing in. DeWindy City with a ton of Bears content coming for you straight ahead. We will see you next time. Marco, say bye. Bye.
Perfect.
We'll see you next